right, welcome. Dawn Madison here on behalf of Rock County Cover Crop Planning Group, talking today with Brent Fluit. I met Brent about 2014. He was actively strip tilling. He's been farming out here for how long?
I guess 30 years, more like.
Yeah, multi-generation farm. About how long ago did you start strip tilling?
Bought one 15 years ago, and we had some custom done for a few years before that to try it out, see what we thought of it, and kept going from there, did more and more.
You decided to start cover cropping. What was your reasoning for that?
Trying to improve the soil health, less erosion also, retain nitrogen when we were applying manure from all the livestock, and weed control.
And weed control,
Which is more something we learned than we thought we were going to get. But
tell us a little bit about what you found for the weed suppression.
Well, first so some of the universities show that rye will reduce nitrogen loss by 30-40%, even 50%, some of them say, which if it really works that good, which it does seem to. I don't have scientific data on my own farm to prove that, but that'll pay for the application and the seed alone after your manure. Weed suppression, yeah, if you get a nice cover, you can get excellent weed suppression, water hemp, everything. Field we're sitting in is conventional beans. I'm very happy with the weed control in it.
So what's your typical seed mixture you're putting out here?
Usually about 50 pounds of rye, a pound of turnips, a pound of radish, and a pound of rape is kind of my typical.
Okay. This farm in particular is really important for the nutrient scavenging because it's in the wellhead.
Right.
So you're doing your part as far as that goes. You also talked a little bit about having a part of this field that you actually never have incorporated it, and tell us a little bit about that.
We left 10 acres or something. We never put covers in. Do see the weed control isn't as good there. There's a bunch of mare's tail, for example, on one end, and where the other field there's a few very scattered, but very little. Always was going to do some, and maybe I can yet this fall do some soil testing to see if the organic matter's changed. We can, on the side by side in the same field. The field is pretty variable on that side for soil quality, so it's pretty hard to test it too. But
I know for a fact this field's got some exciting potential. You want to talk a little bit about that?
We're considering planting a little bit of kernza. So that end of the field, we intend to plant double rate, at least 100 pounds of rye, because the kernza has to be planted in the fall, and I don't want to harvest the rye. I might not harvest the rye as in seed. I might just take it off as forage and plant sorghum, Sudan grass, and try to get a cutting or two of that before we plant the kernza, just because we need lots of forage.
Let's talk about the chemical program out here. Chemicals are a major factor when considering adding covers to the mixture. So what are you using?
This year I used after beans are planted and before they re-emerge, used to Roundup, generic Sonic or generic 41st, 5 ounces of that to get a good rate to help the mare's tail out in this field. Then I come back post about 30 days after the planting and used 16 ounces of generic Flex Star and some Select for volunteer corn and grass, and so the herbicide was pretty reasonably priced considering you don't have any tech pesticides on these beans.
Sure. Who plants your covers?
My second son plants most of it all, and we have he has a Haggy Highboy with a applicator on that it drops it between the rows, and it does a pretty good job. I mean, we plant into beans like this green. Everybody tells you don't work, but I've had a lot of success with it. Last year, with the late year, we had some failure with it because it was just too late. We went by the calendar and everything was late, but you didn't know what to do. So, but some of it still comes nice. We'll see on this year when it's just dry though, but because it's just just laying on top of the ground.
If you were to give advice to your sons trying this for the first time, to yourself trying this for the first time, what would you give for advice?
Take a piece of ground and jump in and try it, and not necessarily the whole thing, but
He says that, but
you'll never. Yeah, I've done lots of whole things, but if you don't try, you'll never learn.